everybody, Gisele Grenier here. I have a really special video today. I didn't get permission to use her name, but I'm going to basically read out a bit of an email that she sent. The gist of it is that, well, I'm going to say Lisa. Okay, I'm not going to say your last name, Lisa. She's a marriage and family therapist who works with people who have schizophrenia and other psychotic disorders. And basically she teaches them art therapy, and she wants to improve her skills on painting on rocks. And Lisa, I am so sorry it's taken this long to get this going. For me, with working with rocks, and I have the furnace up so high, the rocks are cold, which flares up my arthritis. I'm going to see what I can do for you. I'm going to close that email. All right, so the first one I wanted to do is something very, very simple, and basically there's going to be a few videos and I'm going to build up the skills. Now, for anybody out there that wants to create some really simple projects, these are great for kids to do as well, to give as gifts, to leave them around as found art. This particular one that I was thinking about doing was very simple, with hearts and a sentiment, what I'm going to call a stress stone. S-T-R-E-S-S stone, a stress stone. And over the last few days, it's been chaos here, and I've been getting really overwhelmed, and I found that I've got a particular stone that I just hold on to it. And the cold initially flares up my arthritis, but as it warms up, the arthritis just fades away. And then I just close my eyes and I breathe and I focus on the stone, and it just helps with the stress. It works for me. I don't know if it'll work for you, but I thought I would create one today. I'm going to give you a bunch of alternatives for supplies because not everybody has the same supplies. And Lisa, I don't know what supplies you have. So what I'm going to do is the stones I just picked up at Home Depot, big bag of stones at Home Depot, and it does require a lot of cleaning because they're meant for gardening. So you take if you have like a brush for like vegetable brush, get one just for this. Warm water with soap and just, brush to get all the dirt out of the crevices and that, and rinse them really well, put them aside and let them air dry. Don't use a heat gun, you let them air dry. Then from there is you look at the stones and you find ones that don't have any hard cracks, especially for starting. I can paint on any stone, but when you're just getting started, find something that's relatively oval or has a nice shape, relatively smooth. Okay? Then, if you're going to be using it only indoors for decoration, not doing anything with it, you can use any acrylic supplies. If you're going to be handling the stone, we need to somehow seal it because of the moisture in your hands. And then if you want to use it outside on display, and if it's in the elements, then you also want to use that sealing too. So what you can do to do the extra protection to help the paint stick to the stone, you can use a multi-purpose sealer. Oh, and at the end of the video, I'm going to show the supplies I actually end up using because sometimes I swap supplies out. So you can use a sealer like the Decoart American and multi-purpose sealer. It helps paint stick to the stone. Okay. The other thing you can do is use a gesso. Well, of course, I'm going to use my Decoart chalky gesso. You can use white or black. One layer will look like this. Two layers will look like that. And that is 3 layers. Not much of a difference. But if you're going to be covering the complete stone, 2 layers, 3 layers is fine. What you want to do is you don't want anything like this, where part of the rock is exposed. So you want complete coverage on the rock. And this one here, very textured on the bottom. And for me, when I'm holding this, I'll close my eyes and I can actually just do this and just kind of feel the texture in it. But by doing this, we have to make sure this is protected. So for that purpose, I'm going to be using the Decoart Patio paints. These are outdoor paints. Because we have moisture in our hands, it'll help protect the stone. To go even further, I can coat this after when I'm all done with Americana Duraclear. It's a polyurethane varnish, but there's a bunch of different finishes. There's ultra matte, matte, satin, gloss, high gloss, all that other stuff, whatever you want. And the sentiment, because I'm going to be holding a stone, I don't want to use a piece of collage, although there will be one coming up with that. I'm going to be using the Memento Luxe. This is mixed media ink for porous surfaces, and you just heat set it to make it permanent. And I've got my baby stamps. And these I just picked up at Walmart, not Walmart, Michael's forever a time ago. I think I paid $1 for these. All right, so let's get going. Masking tape will help if you want to protect some areas. I'm probably not going to need it. And I can't find my stylus, so I've got my bamboo skewers. So let's get going. Okay, depending, I'm going to paint the stone white. So I've got cloud white, desert turquoise, wrought iron black, and coral. So these are Decor Patio paints, the outdoor acrylics. So I'm going to put that there. Now, if you're using, if the stones are just going to be indoors on display, any acrylics will work. Other than that, I mean, just try it. Just try it. And these are great activities for kids. I'm gonna be doing ones with cats as well. I used to paint like actual rock paint, like animal rock paintings. I'm painting this. This could have been like a rabbit or a cat, and the face would have been here, the back of the body, the tail would have come here, and that's when I didn't have all that paint. So on a dry acrylic brush, I'm just going to give this a coat. And you may say, well, you already have gesso on there. Why are you putting another coat of paint on? Because this is outdoor paint. The best thing that you can do for anything, especially if it's going to be a functional piece of art being handled, is use the products that give you the best protection. And outdoor paints, I've used these paints and I've left a piece outside for 2 years and where it's been covered in snow. I mean, normally I wouldn't do that, but it was more of a test, and it stood up well. It did chip because it was covered in snow. Joe was shoveling and he forgot it was there because I moved it. So he broke it, but that's okay. All right, so we've got that piece on there. Now at this part here, you can use a hairdryer or a heat gun to quickly dry it. You just don't want to focus the heat on one area because the rock will get very hot. Okay, so a light, move it around to dry it. So you're going to repeat this step maybe 2 times, front and back. For me to save time, I'm going to be working on the front of the stone. I'm not going to be working on the back of the stone, but if you're handling the stone, then you want to make sure that both sides are covered. And I know I have no power. Nope. So there we go. So I'm just going to get the heat gun. Now, if you don't have a heat gun, you just let it air dry. It won't take long. You can, if you're in an environment where it's winter right now, just put it in front of your heat vent. If your furnace is on, just put it in front of your heat vent, and then you'll be fine. So let me just paint a little bit on the side. I don't want any of those borders. But again, for your purpose, if you're going to be handling the rock, then you want to paint the front and back. Let me just do one more coat. And many of you have been asking where you get the Decoart paints, because Michael's has changed their lineup. Like up here, it is so hard. I'm in Canada, and it's so hard to get any of the Decoart paints. You have to kind of look. The best way to go is you go to Decoart.com. They have an online shopping cart, and you can also just contact them and let them know what country and city you're in, and then they can guide you better. Because that's all I do. I just end up contacting them. So save a step. Just go directly to them. You want to make sure that the rock is not sticky before you paint the next layer. Okay, now I'm going to let the rock cool off. Cold on the bottom, warm on the top. You don't want to be painting if the rock is hot. All right. And you want to do these. Now, where Lisa's going to be teaching this to to some people. If you want to do these to sell or to give away or gifts or whatever, do them in mass. So line up maybe 10. And as you do them, by the time you get to the 10th one, the first one should be dry. Then you can go back, almost like a mini assembly line. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to get a small brush. That's too big. I want to get something that's, nope, sorry, I should have prepared. I should have prepared. I'm going to try, okay, I'll try this. What I want to do is I want to paint some hearts. I'm going to be putting, depending on how you're going to hold the stone. So I'm thinking, I'm going to put the sentiment right here. So we're going to paint little hearts. So I got a super fine round brush. Just going to roll that in there. Now, if you want to, you know, sketch out your design first, that's fine. I use a graphite pencil. Get that a little bit bigger. Put a little heart. I'm going to put 3. And the sentiment here. And then all you're going to do, so I just sketch that lightly. And just going to paint that. And I'm just going to paint just over the line. Oh boy, this is hard for me to do. I have my wrong glasses on. Okay, not a fan of doing it with Yikes. Okay, do I have a filbert brush? No. No. Sugar. Okay, I'm going to try the little flat brush. And with these paints here, I like to give them, work with the biggest brush you can stand, then go smaller. I want to work probably about 4 layers of coats, 4 coats of paint on this. And the reason for that is just to make sure that you have a good opaque coverage. You can see how it's a little bit transparent there. So once you've got that one down, then you can come in with a round brush and just go over just to the edge. Again, we're not working for perfection. If you want perfection, buy something that's manufactured. And it's just relaxing. Now, ideally, the best way to do this to make it relaxing is you just play music. Put your earphones on if need be and just listen to some nice music. I was listening to Brain FM for binaural beats, but now I've got another app that helps me focus. And you just want to, just do whatever you have to do just to nice and quiet and just enjoy the process. It's not about the finished stone, it's about the process. Okay, so that's layer number 1. See, it's not a perfect heart, and I'm fine with that. Then I'm going to go to another color. Okay, and I'll do the coral. I just realized that I'm missing, maybe I'll make one. Oh, I'll make one dark blue. Oh, Joe's home. That was a short walk. I think it's minus 29 Celsius outside. For those of you that don't know Celsius, Google Celsius to Fahrenheit and look up minus 29 Celsius and see what it is in Fahrenheit. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. Hope I don't get my head in the way. I had to move the camera. Whoopsie. I moved the camera so I wouldn't get my head in the way. Sometimes because I can't see. Oh, Joe's got the microwave on. He's heating up me his chicken. If you have some foam blocks, you can put foam blocks under the rocks to help cushion them. Which is the better way of doing it. I'm handling the rock because I've got the lights. I've got a light, and I get see that glare, that what you're seeing. I don't see the glare if I'm this way, but when I'm looking at it this way, I've got a big ugly piece of glare. Okay, now I don't have. I'm looking on my shelf. I don't have any more patio paint. I ran out of it all. So what can I use instead? What would be a nice color? I want something soft. What if we took black with a little bit of pink? What would happen? Oh, we get ugly. Okay, this is why I don't like color mixing this stuff. Let's go with yellow. Let's get a yellow. Oh, what do I have for yellow? Okay, I'm going to, sorry, again, should have prepared. I'm not going to use my Decoart media acrylics, are too thin, so I'm going to use this Americana bright yellow. This is the stuff I use for paint pouring. Again, it doesn't matter the color. Use whatever you want, but this would be a nice experiment to see the finish, what it would end up looking like. I'm not a fan of yellow because it's too intense. Ooh, green. Wonder if that would be better. Yeah, that one's a little bit better. So I'm mixing two Decoart products together. Now, for the purpose of this video, we're painting a rock. What you don't want to do is, if you're going to be selling these, don't mix an outdoor product with an indoor product for outdoor use. What you want to do, I'm going to clean this off because I'm going to mix the paint better. What you don't want to do is combine, because the patio paints are for outdoor use. If I'm using an indoor product, it's going to weaken the product, and you know, it could affect how it works outside. Now the other thing is that the yellow is more transparent, so this is going to take probably twice as many coats of paint as the other one. See the difference? I guess I could have painted it black. You know what? Okay, so I cleaned off the stone. I'm going in now with black. The yellow was just too transparent, but we'll be able to put a trim around this. And it's more to show you that you don't have to have the exact same colors or the exact same paints. My round brush is a little long. I'm not having much control over it. I don't have anything shorter. But let's see if I can get it closer. Take my glasses off. I'll have to get my other brushes out. Now the other thing too is when you're painting on rocks like this, don't use your expensive brushes, because painting on rocks is very hard on them, hard on the brushes. I've got, my mother-in-law gave me this outdoor polar bear to paint. The thing is massive. She goes, "Can you do a video for this?" I'm not sure how I'd even get that on my table. I would like to show how, because you can upcycle stuff. It's way too much stuff is going to landfill. So if I can do a video to show you guys how you can upcycle something like that. I've got, okay, if this ever happens to you guys, I've got a hair. This was poor quality in the manufacturing. There's a hair sticking out there. That's better. Okay, so I'm just going to clean that up. So I'm going to let this dry, and I'm going to repeat this step Oh, this one's actually not too bad. The blue and the coral needs another coat. So I'm going to repeat the black probably one more time and the blue and coral maybe 2 more times until I get a complete coverage on that. I'm also going to go back over with the white on the outside edge. Now, if you've painted your rock, and let's say you're done and you, let's say, splattered some paint, you just use your paint and go back over, make sure this is dry, and just tidy up the edges. And this is a great way, I've done this even in fine art painting, it's a great way to put that negative space back in. If your heart's gotten too big, come back in and just reshape it. But just make sure that everything is dry. Make sure you don't get ridges of paint. So what you don't want is, put my glasses on so I can see the monitor. Where are we? You don't want that. See that ridge of paint? So smooth that out. Make sure it's nice and smooth. And let each layer completely dry in between. Alrighty, so I've got about 3 coats on these and about 4 coats on these. So what to do now is we can go an extra step if you're comfortable with using a round brush to outline. Then we can do the next step. You can. I'm not a fan of using pens to do this because I don't know what the reaction is going to be outside. What we're going to do now is, I can do it on the black because it's black. I'm going to dip my skewer. I'm going to take my glasses off. How is that? I'm going to dip my skewer, and then what I want to do is create dots just on the inside. I can't talk when I'm doing this. So we're going to outline the heart. Oh, and I know I'm crooked. Too much. This is why when you're doing this, quiet environment. And this part isn't dry. So this is why you go slightly out. You go past the, when you're painting it, you go past the lines because you need this extra space. Now, if you're using a color that doesn't quite stand out with the white, you can take a liner brush and you can go outside to create a border with black. And then we can do that as well. I want to see first what it looks like. Yeah, I'm fine. This is helpful if you've used a paint that just has no contrast. This is meant to be simple. I'm also going to do, I think I'm going to do 5 videos in the series for stress stones. I'm going to show stenciling, stamping, collage. Not going to show paint pouring. There doesn't seem to be much interest in the paint pouring anymore. I'm not sure why, because I think it's a beautiful technique, but oops, I went too far there. You guys can see, right? Take your time. I'm going a little faster than I should be. I also realized I didn't quite clean up that edge. But if you can take about maybe 30 minutes to an hour to create one stone beginning to end, you're good to go. Again, you're not looking for perfection. You're enjoying the process. Don't do it on camera because you won't enjoy the process. But you want to enjoy the process, and the piece that's finished is just a bonus. Enjoy the process and learn from it. So what I've learned so far is, and I did find it, I'm going to use a filbert brush next time, which is round, and that helps get those nice round corners. This actually worked out okay. I need to make the hearts even bigger, and I'm going to do another rock with, you know, for another video where we do the outline. But just take your time. Just take your time. And prep a whole bunch of stones ahead of time if you can. So let's do this. Now I'm going to get my little stamps. I'm going to do love. Yeah, I don't think I can put the word breathe in there. I like it when it's single-use letters. I don't have to. Really? Okay, this is making me stressed out. L-O-V-E. Okay. Now, I've never used these on a rock, so I hope this is going to work. Oops, that's off. Oh well. I'm not a fan of stamping with these little letters because I can't see. It actually turned out pretty cute. Okay. Okay, let me get these back in there. Yeah, so basically that's it. Now you let it dry, and we're really should seal it if you're going to be handling it. And when I say handling it, holding it in your hands. Okay? And what you want to do is you want to protect the stone from all the natural oils in your hands. So I'm going to take my heat gun and I'm going to heat set. It's more to heat set the letters, because that's what it says on the actual stamp pad, to heat set for permanence on porous surfaces, including fabric. This will also help me just cover all that up. And then once that's completely dry, you can turn around and you can come in with a sealer. Put my glasses back on. Now, for this type of thing here, you can see that there's shine on that. If you don't want any shine, come in with a matte finish. Now, just keep in mind that when you use something glossy, it's like glass, and a matte finish has a very, almost like the opacity is just, there's a hint of opacity in there. So that's what gives it that matte finish. So just keep that in mind when you're doing your piece. So you just shake, always follow the directions on the bottle, okay? And work with that. So leave your stone to dry, but if I'm using patio paint for everything, it's ready to go. Like even you look at the back of the bottle. What it does say though is allowed to dry for 72 hours. So don't put it outside or handle it for 72 hours, just to be safe. I mean, you can pick it up like this, but don't start using it as a stress stone, holding it and rubbing it and all that stuff for 72 hours. You want it to cure. Personally, myself, be using it as a stress stone, the idea that I'm going to be holding it and I might be rubbing over it, I am going to seal it. Not only does it protect the stones, it protects, you know, it just gives ultimate protection. So let's see, are you dry yet? I'm going to let this dry just a little bit more, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to seal the stone. But see the difference in color? I want to make sure that stamp thing is permanent. I've never used it on a stone, so it's going to be an interesting test to see what it's going to look like when using the varnish. So that's it. It's done. Now let's go with the varnish. And you can use whatever finish you want. I'm going to use a matte finish. It's just a little nicer on camera. It's not so shiny. Okay, let's see. How is that going to dissolve? Nope, it's fine. But I'm not going to overwork it. You apply the paint, you apply the varnish, smooth out any ridges, and leave it. No heat gun, no nothing. Just leave it. It dries fairly quickly. Now, I didn't let the stone cool off, which you should. Let the stone come to room temperature. It doesn't take long, just a minute. There we go. Done. Doesn't take much. And it's already drying. See? It's already dry here. And it's ready to go. That's it. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. So while that's drying, so let me just go over the actual products I used. And was this one, and the brushes. Okay, so for the brushes, what I learned from is that, yeah, the round brush is fine. I'm actually going to cut this down to make it even shorter. Okay, so for that, all I got to do is just, and you don't need to do this. I'm going to because I want something more short to give me more control, and I'll round this out. So whatever brushes you want that are comfortable, I hope you were able to see that. So Decoart Chalky Gesso, let's back up. Decoart Chalky Gesso, what I use to prime the stone. Decoart Patio Paint, the outdoor acrylic coral, wrought iron black, desert turquoise, cloud white. The Memento Luxe mixed media stamp pad. This is tuxedo black, and then some small stamps. And then the Americana Duraclear Ultra Matte Polyurethane Matte Varnish. Okay, that's what I used for the stone. See, now that shine is gone. Other than it's still a little bit wet there, but see here? I like that. But it's up to you. Now, the other thing you can do with here, and I just thought, these dots, you can use a metallic. You can stamp that as a metallic, but you see the possibilities? The key thing is prepping the stone so the stuff doesn't flake off. And if you're going to use regular acrylics, make sure you seal it. Okay? You have to seal the whole thing. Even if you have to put 10 layers of varnish, front, back, side, like one layer on the front, let it dry. One layer on the back, let it dry. One layer on the side, whatever you have to do. You don't want an ounce, a speck, a pinprick of regular acrylics showing through if you're going to be using these outside. They'll pull apart. Okay, so that's that. Very basic, very simple stone, gets you started. So that covers the prep, the painting, and the sealing. And this rock now is ready to be handled. Again, you can finish it with whatever varnish you want. So I'm going to be doing a few more videos with this, just altering the techniques, because some of you may not be comfortable painting. I'm going to do a collage, do a stamping, and doing a stenciling, and also going to be working on doing one with a cat. I miss my chaos, so I'll be doing one with a cat as a stone as well. So if you have somebody who's, is comforted by animals, you can do a little piece on that. These are great also for ladybugs. Solid color, the wings, maybe we'll do a ladybug stone. So let me know what you guys want to see as a painted stone. Keeping in mind the theme of this art is called stress stones. So let me know what you want to see in the comments below, and I will go with that. So Lisa, I hope this video helps you, and I hope you enjoy the videos that are coming up. All right, you guys, so until I see you in the next lesson, stay inspired.